Hey, San Antonio, Duke John, coming at you with another Beacon Report. God bless you in the new year. I hope your holidays were sensational. You might not know that January is National Trafficking Awareness Month. And with that sort of as our backdrop, we are absolutely excited to have in studio today Belinda McAllister and Ceresa Ingalls with Ransomed Life, a local ministry here in San Antonio who is making a huge difference. The movie Sound of Freedom came out. Everybody got excited and engaged to some degree in this whole trafficking and sex trafficking arena. And we don't want that to go away, right? Because I think you're going to learn some things today as we move through the Beacon Report. Some things that you can really do even with your own kids. So stay tuned. Belinda, Ceresa, welcome to the Beacon Report.
Well, thank you for having us, Duke. We're excited.
Ceresa, you good?
I'm good.
All right.
Excited to be on. Thank you.
You betcha. So maybe, just tell us a little bit about who Ransomed Life is and what you do.
Well, we are a faith-based nonprofit here in San Antonio, and we serve Bexar County and all the small counties around us. And I'm going to try really hard not to talk with my hands because that's what I do. I kind of get a little bit revved up and my hands start go flying, so I'll hang on to them. We are based on Isaiah 43. And if you'll remember, that's where God says, I have called you by name. You are mine. And the kids that we serve have been either trafficked or sexually exploited. And they don't have a lot of self-identity. They've lost most of what they called themselves. And so to reassure them that in God's eyes, first and foremost, and those of us that serve as well, they have a lot of worth. And they need to know that God says, you're mine. You're worth something big. So that's what we do. We do serve them two different ways: through prevention education in schools and youth organizations, and secondarily through the healing process with counseling and mentoring. And so those are the two big pieces. I've been with Ransomed Life 6 years. Ceresa's been 8. So we're kind of the veterans in this battle because it's been a new battle since the beginning. Ceresa, do you want to add anything?
No, just that I guess Ransomed Life kind of is, like you said, pioneering in our field a little bit. The work that we do, and what makes us unique is that we do have both sides of it. So we have the prevention education with the training, but then also the actual aftercare side with the counseling and mentoring. And both of our teams are able to essentially feed off of each other and provide each other with new real-time information of what's going on in our city.
So maybe just a quick testimony. Maybe each of you can take this, a short testimony about somewhere that you may have been and did some education and kind of the response from that. And then maybe a short testimony about someone that was rescued from trafficking that you were able to help.
Duke, we love it when at the end of a presentation in a school that we have maybe middle school kids bumping into each other and talking about, this is what it looks like. This is how I can help you. And then they start looking after each other. And that piece of it's so important. We may train the teachers and the counselors and the staff and the kids, but if you've got 500 middle schoolers sitting there talking about what they just saw, and they then began to form this circle around each other. And some actually do come forward and say, I didn't know that's what was happening. I thought this 30-year-old guy was in love with me and I found him on Instagram. So when you start to see that open up, that they can talk about it, and there's somebody that they can trust to talk about it, we leave every presentation saying one thing: you are worth more than anything that somebody's going to offer you. You're worth more. But more importantly, those adults that are in this room, you've got to be that trusted adult, that one person that the next door kid or the niece or nephew, whoever it is that's around in your world, they know they can come to you with the worst thing they've ever done in their whole lives, and you're still going to love them and you're going to help them. And so that's what's super important on the prevention side.
Well, and I think even to kind of dovetail off that, Linda, I don't know still, even today, if people think that this is regulated to a particular part of town, never going to happen in my neighborhood to my kids, and maybe speak a little bit just to the severity, really, how severe trafficking is.
It is the original secret sin, it happens so frequently that children no longer have a bar. They think that if they send a naked picture, nobody's going to know. And then it becomes uncovered, and then it becomes a big deal. And then it gets circulated. And so that piece of it that they think is secret isn't. So when we put up a map in a presentation of the city of San Antonio, and it shows every zip code in the city that we have served somebody, or 10 somebodies or 20 somebodies in that zip code, that means every child that has a phone can be reached by a predator. So
at what age, if I'm a parent with children, at what age do I start visiting with them about this?
Why don't you take that one, Ceresa?
Honestly, very young. So our presentation, The Lures and Lies for Youth, we typically say ages 11 to 17 is what it was created for and geared for. But truly, you should already be having conversations with your kids about safe touch, images, what are bad images, good images, all of those conversations, pornography, all of that. You should already be having conversations with your kids, even at a younger age. And then our training is geared towards that 11 to 17 age range. We have done it with people that are younger than 11. It's truly based on the parents' discretion and kind of the conversations that they have already preemptively had with their child, whether they want them to be a part of our training.
Yeah, it really just becomes, I guess, a part of your, you teaching your kids as they grow up on a lot of different things, and make sure that that's one of them, excuse me, that's included in that conversation. What about Ceresa, a testimony from someone that found a way out of trafficking, and you guys were able to help and bring healing? And just so our audience is aware, we don't ever use names of real people in these testimonies, just as a clarification, but share a little bit about someone that's been helped.
Was a young lady that we had in our program, and at first she was very closed off to the idea of Christianity and Jesus and a relationship with Jesus. And it was truly just slowly through the relationship with her mentor, as her mentor would just ask her, would you feel comfortable if we prayed? Or would you want to do a Bible study or a coloring page that has a Bible verse on it? Just really small things that eventually she said yes to all of that, and then yes to coming to church and being involved in that church, and getting saved and getting baptized. And so that was a huge success story for us as well.
Are the mentors volunteers?
They are, yes. They are trained, vetted volunteers.
And the reason I bring that up is obviously somebody may be listening and God's tugging at their heart, and here's a way for you to plug in to something that God is using in a very huge way in our city, by volunteering to really be a mentor and help somebody coming out of that situation in their past. From the proactive side, because I get excited about that too, right? Let's not just help once something's happened. Let's prevent something from happening from the very beginning. you know, what do I, so I'm a parent, I've got 3 kids, they're all between the ages of 8 and 12. I mean, what service do you provide that I can take advantage of? Is there something on your website? You know, I work at a company, maybe I could have you guys come in. I don't know if you do classes on site. Help
That
me on-
that part of it, Duke, I love to talk about our lunch and learns. Businesses are used to that. So for us to come in while they've got their group at the conference table and we're having a 45-minute conversation and a presentation on what to do and what to look for and how to be the good neighbor, basically, that's always been a successful way to reach it. We are in wellness fairs and conferences and all the standard stuff over on that business side, but also on mission fairs at churches, and then a whole lot of law enforcement and counseling conferences. San Antonio is a convention city. And so we've been invited into those types of settings to be able to do additional training.
So let's even go beyond my own family, right? I mean, can you give me in, you know, 45 seconds or so, some sort of a list as I'm out in public? What are the things that I'm looking for that would indicate to me that someone's being trafficked here?
Control. You see a child with someone and the adult that's with them kind of doesn't look like a dad or a brother or whatever. They don't act like you think that someone might. What we're often told on the medical side is that person controls the identity. Like if there's an ID for a child to see a doctor, or it's really about the control piece. They don't want them out of their sight. Even if they need to go to the bathroom, they're going to go to the bathroom and wait right there at the door for them. If they're at McDonald's, this is a common one that we use, and it is a day like today where it's cold and windy. A kid would typically have jeans and tennis shoes and a sweatshirt on. But maybe this child has flip-flops and shorts and a t-shirt that's short sleeve. So they're not dressed appropriately. There's a whole lot of the flags. They could be any number of things. If they're acting strangely, maybe there is someone that's being loud, unkind, and forceful with them. There's just pieces of those that may fit under several umbrellas, but truly, Sarasa, you can back me up on this or not, but it's really kind of the control piece. There's an age discrepancy and they don't seem like their family.
Is there also, I think there is, right, some sort of a national or international sign that someone may try and give you in the event that they're in some sort of a trafficking situation?
You got it down, Sarasa? Go for it.
Thanks. Yeah, so you
It's
hold
pretty
your
easy.
hand up, thumb in, and then this.
Down.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. That's good to know as well. And so, I mean, what, you know, gosh, we could go down a lot of rabbit trails here, but let's say that I think that I'm seeing this thing that you're describing. What do I do?
You need to call law enforcement. People have a tendency to want to step in and be the one to save the child. You don't know if that predator with them may be carrying a gun, a knife, may be wanted in 30 states. You just don't know the story. So to be able to immediately get on your phone, and we teach our audiences to keep your local law enforcement in your favorites. In other words, just put them in there as help, sheriff, help, SAPD, help, the list, human trafficking hotline. But if you're standing somewhere and you see it happening, it's just step over to the side, make the phone call, and then start logging every detail you can think of. Not just how they're dressed, but a car, a license plate, anything that you overhear or see, just the details mean everything. We have seen this happen over and over. Those details give law enforcement just enough room to track somebody down and get them. It does so much matter.
Well, San Antonio, I hope you're listening. I mean, lots of opportunity here, excuse me, for you to partner up with Ransomed Life. I mean, talk to someone at your school, at your place of work, at your church, in your small group. Set them up to, for a time to come and spend with your people and learn more about both the signs and more importantly, perhaps, the proactive steps that you can take. 2, volunteer. You know, if God's tugging at your heart, and I'm sure there are other opportunities that you have on your website, volunteer and help out. You know, the greatest sacrifice that any of us can give is our time. 3, I know that the ministry operates by faith, right? And so I hope, man, I mean, you know, saving a life and changing a life is precious. So we can't put you know, $500 is going to save 2 girls. You know, we don't know what that is, but the Holy Spirit knows what you're supposed to give. And I think there are some on here listening this afternoon that are supposed to make a donation. Give us the website where they can go for more info and resources and to give.
It's Ransomed with a D, ransomedlifetexas.org. And one thing for sure, Duke, on our website, it is not just a dictionary, tons of little 3-minute videos that you can learn something quickly and to be able to help. And that's super important. And I think there's one thing our population, especially in this area, understands, and that's the cost of counseling. So if you want to quantify in someone's head that one child gets 1 counseling session, and maybe that's $75 with us, we charge nothing.
Right.
Our population receives counseling for free. But if they want to donate and equate it that way, then maybe that's a number.
Well, great. I think start to a new year. Maybe you learned something new today, as Teresa and Belinda both shared with us. San Antonio, come on, awesome ministry. You need to, 1, get involved somehow and at least have them show up and do some education or go to the website and get resources. But 2, come on, let's stand with them in this battle. Obviously, the number of educational services they can provide and the number of people that they can help that are coming out of trafficking is directly tied to the amount of support that you and I are able to give them. Thank you guys for being with us on the Beacon Report. San Antonio will be back in touch with you soon with another one. Don't forget to visit that website, ransomedlifetexas, spelled out, .org. Email address real quick, Teresa, if they want to reach out to schedule a meeting. Or...
You could just do info@ransomedlifetexas.org.
There you have it. Thank you, ladies. It's been a joy. San Antonio will be back at you. Go to sabeacon.com to stay updated on all God's doing in our city. We love you.
All right.